Welcome back to another episode of Aunt and Andrew with Family's Everything.
Until it's not. I'm Aunt.
And I'm Andrew. And I just warmed up by talking to Aunt.
We talked a half hour before we even started. Anyways, how are you today? I know.
I'm wonderful. But as Dorinda would say, not well, bitch.
Oh, God, Dorinda. Did you see? Oh, I know we're getting into the OC, but did you see all the housewives that were at the Beyonce concert this week?
Oh, yeah. It's kind of been a trend across the country. The problem is that all these other cities are in shambles where half the people don't talk to each other. So it's like, who do you call? You call two VIP services, or maybe she has 2 nights. In New Jersey, she needs 2 nights.
There was too much about the Beyonce concert for me this week.
It's been too much. Her and Taylor. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Not only that, it was too much with the silver.
I think people should get as excited about Aunt and Andrew's weekly episodes as they do
Taylor
Beyonce. Swift and Beyonce.
Does she sing that?
I'm sure she does. It's a staple.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a Dr. Moon.
Dr. Moon. I'm going to tell you, listen, the flashback was so good on Dr. Moon.
He's aged terribly.
Somebody was telling Shannon, oh, you got stress. Your gravity here. You're getting fat. It's all this. He wasn't very encouraging to poor Shannon, was she? But my favorite part is, first of all, he rips open the back of her Johnny so he can put his
But her face, I'm sorry, this is what so I don't really remember much of Dr. Moon from the past. Probably
I do.
Whenever they talk, overshare around female parts on the Housewives, I tend to check out.
No, well, yes. I'm going to tell you, I can because I go to acupuncture also every week. And so I found Dr. Moon. I'd love to go to Dr. Moon. I really would, except for that when he rips open.
Yeah, of course. Well, I do. Do you think it's produced at this point? That's the only thing I care about.
A little bit. I mean,
Shannon knows he gets a rise. She knows people think he's funny. Know what?
He is funny because he tells Shannon, oh, you talk too much. You drink too much. You eat too much. I mean, it's all true. But my favorite part is I can remember the episode when she had the tip lost in the in the colonic.
I do remember.
And when they went to David going, I think I still have some under my nails. That was just so disgusting. I laughed so hard. I thought that was so funny. I love it. I hope that maybe if Shannon and Dr. Moon do,
I'm gonna buy it.
It's gonna go on my list because last week we talked about all of the products I've bought from the Housewives, and I'd have to buy the Dr. Moon colonic too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally. I love Dr. Moon. He can stay forever. And I get that Shannon's stressed I'd love to know, because at one time, David had to pay her like $100,000 a month in alimony because that's how much he was making. They had a $20 million house.
You're right. I forget that he was filthy rich.
He was like wealthy. They built that house. She had stones under every one. Yeah. She had like $20 million home. And he had to pay her like $100,000. And then now all of a sudden she's talking about that she does have 3 daughters going to good schools. So she's got almost a $200 a year bill. But I can't imagine that David's not paying for most of it.
Yeah, it's almost $200,000 for sure.
Yeah, for the 3 of them, And so I thought, even at the half, she's got to have to pay $100,000. But I thought David was paying her $100,000 a month for those kids.
I have a feeling that they probably set up college accounts for them when they got divorced.
Yeah, I do too. I get that she's talking about her kids going to college.
Oh yeah, but she's talking about how she has to pay for them.
Yeah,
but she has to cover some of it. I think that she's using it as a storyline, and I think
so too. I don't think she's paying for it because he was giving her $100,000 a month.
I mean, she also might be thinking that there's
she has a nice house and everything, Shannon too.
Yeah, she does. She's good.
Yeah, she's not. I don't think she's suffering.
No,
I get that she just wants you to feel bad for her and buy her shit kit.
Yes. But talking about suffering, Emily was suffering at that.
Oh, listen, that can happen if you don't eat all day and then you go to a party and you're thirsty and you have 1, 2, 8, 12. It happens. You can get I don't have to tell you.
I mean, seriously, you're talking to me?
I know. You can get pretty wasted pretty fast, but she was a sloppy drunk. And you know what? I have to wonder when she started Ozempic because it lowers your resistance. So I almost wonder if she started during the season.
I was going to say something like that.
She seems a little bit off to me, a little bit high strung, and it can make people a little bit high strung.
Do you think, because at the beginning of the season, she was so carefree, she was our favorite, we loved her, we thought that she was so fun and
she
so
didn't
different,
care, and now she's had kind of like a little weird thing has happened to her, and I think she might be getting the
does it have any it also has you resist food?
Well, it changes actually your brain chemistry that you have no cravings.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't crave food, but people say that you also don't care about going to the casino. Like, if you have a casino, you don't like have your whole desire to, like, it shuts down something in your head so that you don't have the same desires. Like,
yeah,
cravings.
That makes sense. I understand that.
Which is weird because all it does is regulate your blood sugar.
Well, I was thinking that maybe it has a similar like feeling to the idea that like when I take medication at times, like, well, we're not times now daily for like my fair share of problems. Some of them suppress my appetite. So it's like, I think now like, oh my God, if I was still drinking, I'd be so trashed. Like if I went out after work, because I truly just don't eat like that much. It's right. Just, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. But I have a feeling maybe she was starting the shots already then.
Yeah.
Because she's had a significant, she doesn't look like the same person. I will say that. But with the sand, you get sand in my mouth and the cucumber.
The cucumber was a lot.
Is there a bird in the what's it called? It's called
the bird.
It's called a cloche, I think, or something like
that.
The
lunch though, like just wasn't, I have to say, like
I didn't think it was lunch. I thought it was dinner, to tell you the truth. But I did love the presentation of the caviar. I'm sorry, I did. Thought it was spectacular.
I don't like caviar. I've tried it multiple times. I'm not a big fan.
Wait. According to Emily, it comes out of the fish's vagina, so she doesn't want anything to do with it because that's what she said. It comes out of the fish's vagina, so she doesn't want the egg.
I think that they could like actually have a more wholesome meal.
Like an actual meal, especially since they had such fancy menu cards that were actually like glass. I want to say, I thought they all thought it was tacky. I thought it was a beautiful party. Maybe I'm a little tacky. I'm not sure. I thought the HGs and everything were overboard, but I thought the way they brought the caviar and the venue, and I thought the back of the chairs. I know. I mean, it's supposed to be a network, and HD had the Dubrow. Blah. It was kind of funny when Emily said, "I thought we were going to get branded."
Oh, I was about to say you should get branded, but the only one that was actually truly supportive was Gina. She like put on a good act.
Yeah, she was like, okay, yeah.
Like, well, maybe
she's thinking
nice.
She's thinking she'd get a show out of it. Like,
no, she goes, she wanted to meet Kevin O'Leary. That's what she said. She goes, I was thinking I was going to meet Mr. Wonderful. Oh no,
she was she felt bad she didn't meet Mark Cuban.
Yeah,
Mark Cuban. It was Mark Cuban.
Yeah,
well, I would have been disappointed if I went and didn't see Mark Cuban too. I'll be quite honest with you. To me, the most interesting thing is what a good dancer Terry Dubrow is.
Oh yes, I know.
He can dance. I'm telling you, you know his brother was a lead singer in Quiet Riot.
He was?
Yeah, the heavy metal group, Quiet Riot. I think his name's Kevin Dubrow. And it's his brother, but he died.
Wow.
Yeah, well, and he can really
Dubrows
dance. And when he came, I got the email. The money's in escrow. And they did a little fist pump. It's like they got their own little secret and they're dancing around. I thought it was La La Land.
You loved it.
I'm telling you. And then when they went to the house.
Oh yeah,
and
that
it was like
nice.
Their last time, and she's sucking down which is so hysterical because Heather Dubrow would never do that. I mean,
no.
Maybe she should. And then again, they're dancing all around the house.
Oh yeah,
and we've got the scenery, and I just thought they think they're in La La Land. That's it. It was. Totally,
I love it.
She was totally La La Land. Ryan Gosling and who was it? In La La Land.
Oh my goodness. Emma Stone.
Maybe. That could be. I think I just remember it was Ryan Gosling. How come Ryan Gosling gets all these weird roles like in Barbie too?
He's just like, I think he's very selective.
And it's weird because I think of Ryan Gosling. All I think of is what?
Brokeback Mountain. No, he was not in that.
He wasn't in that.
Oh, The Notebook.
Yeah, The Notebook.
I know.
That's such a great movie. The Notebook. What a love story. It's right up there.
Oh my God. I'd love for like a hybrid of The Notebook and Brokeback Mountain to be like the rest of my life.
Okay. Have you ever seen Somewhere in Time?
No.
Oh, that's the best love story almost ever. It was with Christopher Reeve And Jane Seymour, it's probably 40 or 50 years old.
Jane Seymour, the heart, doesn't she have the Hearts collection or whatever?
Yes,
We represent her.
Oh, do you? Yeah, she's
she
great.
was in Wedding Crashers.
She's beautiful. Yes. And what a beautiful love story. Everybody who's out there watching this, if you haven't seen Somewhere in Time, you are missing one of the best. Besides, I think The Notebook's a really great love story too.
I'm going to jump in because you're about to take a sip because that's the only time I can get a word in. No, I'm just kidding. We're sharing the mic very well today. I think that the sale of the house, I don't know. I don't think it's the same as sharing consistent drama around an ex or a boyfriend. Well, did you watch What Happens Live? Because Emily said that she thinks they're together.
Yeah, she said they were on and off, on and off, on and off.
Yeah. But there's no comparison because let me tell you, if Heather Dubrow had, say, called Gina all the time and said, I want to sell my house. I want to sell my house. I want to sell my house.
Right.
Or the other women, then they would have said, we'll put it on the market. Her house was not on the market.
No, it was a
private cold sale.
Right.
It could have fallen through at any moment. It's a lot of money. It could come off chauvinistic to say, guess what we're selling it for.
Yes,
so
it could. I see both
understand.
sides of it. And I'm going to say, when my daughter bought her house, she was selling her townhouse to buy her house. And she didn't tell anybody it was happening either, because she didn't know that the other sale was going to go through, the townhouse. And if the townhouse didn't go through, the house wasn't going to go through. And she didn't want to tell this to everybody and then have it fall through. And so it was the day she closed that she went to your grandmother, my mother, and said, hey, I want you to know I just bought a house down the street. And she was like, what do you mean you did all this, blah, blah, blah. And I do get that aspect of it, but Heather's in a little different situation than a young couple selling a townhouse and buying a house. They're multimillionaires, they're big doctors, the whole bit.
Yeah, but I just think that
I get it.
It's a lot. It's actually the difference in the opposite direction.
I love how she said they had an NDA, even if they don't.
No, it's smart.
Yeah,
to say.
I think it's a great thing. I'm going to start saying
can't talk about it.
Yeah, I'm just, from now on, if you say something, I'm going, I don't know. I have an NDA with them.
Yeah, I already
it's a default. It's a default. Yeah, I just can't share that. I have an NDA. Yeah, I love that. It was great. I think it was shady. I also think everything we saw on the house was staged. That's the difference. I think Josh being in there and Heather Altman being there, I think that was all staged. They closed G6.
Of course.
All of that. I think all of that was staged. Josh Altman might have called them, but he was more than happy.
It might not have been staged for Heather and Terry.
No, I think they knew that they were going to come back in. And I think the whole thing was, I think they sold the house. Josh handled the sale. They got out. But I think what we saw on Bravo was all pre-done, and then they recreated it and it was a reenactment.
Got it.
Kind of like the Civil War at Gettysburg. You go there, you can get a reenactment.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's a reenactment. I think it was a little shady, but I get it too.
Yeah.
I do. Okay. I get it. What I did like in Mexico, first of all, it's beautiful.
What about let's talk about Ryan.
Ryan, no, we're going to talk about one thing about Ryan, and we're not going to go on anymore because it's just ad nauseum with those two. He is the worst coats. That's the truth. It was the ugliest coat I've ever seen in the whole world. I don't know where he is. Does he live in Southern California, or is he living in the middle of Montana?
I don't know. All I know is I really like Jenn a lot.
No, I like Jenn. I have no problem with Jenn.
I thought she was calm with her mother.
I do think Ryan's a little sketchy.
Oh, I do too. But
I
really
do.
like
and his
Jenn.
Clothes are horrible. They really are just horrible.
And I love a good vulnerable moment. So I loved when they were crying. And I also loved when Jenn's mom after said, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you, because let's just say it, people with lots of life experience, people that really think they know everything, it's hard to say sorry. It's hard to be vulnerable. And she did it on TV at her age. I think that's amazing.
True. I sort of enjoyed, because I'm going to tell you, my favorite part of the episode was the fact that Terry Dubrow can dance. Don't ask me why. Number 2, I kind of enjoyed that Heather's finally in the hot seat after all these seasons. Nobody ever touches Heather Dubrow. She's never really any kind of conflict. She always gets out of it one way or another. She doesn't get the heavy heat, but for whatever reason, they decided they're coming after her this year, and they're after her. And I kind of like she was in the hot seat. I do too. But I think some of it is being brought about because I just see a personality change all of a sudden in Emily. There's something has clicked in Emily, and I want to tell you, something's kind of clicked in Shannon Beador too. There's something, she's either depressed or she got
she is depressed, but I think
there's something going, but there's something more.
Yeah.
Now it could be she's feeling heavy.
Okay.
And you're going to Mexico. And you know how we talked about OC the other day, they all said New York, they'd all been starving before they went away to where were they going? Where did they go? Oh, Anguilla. And so I think they're so worried about everybody calling them, fat on TV that they get a little crazy. And Shannon has, she's 10 years older than she used to be. Of course, she's going to look different. That's not, abnormal. But I don't know. There's something, I think there's issues with the girls. I think there's issues with John. I think she has always had some personal emotional issues. I think she's very maybe a little low self-esteem.
Yeah. I don't know if it's as much about self-esteem if it is she it's not just self-esteem. I do think it's self-esteem. It's also it seems like she's constantly looking for relevance and purpose. She's just not comfortable in her own skin, but it's even more than just looks. It's just even the way she speaks, the way she talks. She has a lot of self-doubt for somebody who seems confident. That's the thing. Exactly. And I think that's what we're seeing. And I will say that the one part that I do believe is going to come out, and that's why we didn't see it yet, because they probably edited it because it must have already come out, but I think they've cut it all out until when we see it next, is and this is why I think at the beginning of the season, there was a question on Watch What Happens Live that they said, who's in the most hot seat this season or whatever. Mm-hmm. And at that time, everyone kind of said Heather. Okay. All of them were saying Heather. Okay. And I think this is the lead up to that because that was at the end of the season.
Right.
But what Heather said to Emily when she was, it was really messed up because she's making a mockery of Shannon by saying it's in the vault.
Right.
Can't say it. And then she's also kind of taunting Emily a little bit because she's saying Shannon said something about you negative at BravoCon or whatever, but I can't tell you it's in the vault. And then now what's the whole craziest part about it that I'm Emily,
she thinks she thought it was Tamra. That's the crazy part. They were saying afterwards it could have been Tamra, and Gina couldn't confirm or deny because she was getting her hair blown.
So that might be why it's not brought up. It might be why it's delayed.
I don't know.
Is maybe production's trying to get clarity. I don't know.
But I'm going to tell you, it looks like next week. Well, next week's going to be great. You know why? Because Vicky arrives and they can go whoop it up. Woo!
I love how at the table she goes, "Hey, you guys." Not having any fun, kind of whoop it up.
Yeah, and I will even say that Gina and Emily on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy looks good with his beard. I will say, yeah.
I think he wants Gina's podcast producer. I wonder if they speak the same language. I thought he was in a daze.
Really?
The same language. We can just say it. I wonder if Gina's podcast partner is gay.
I thought he was gay.
Andy
seemed to be gay to me.
I've listened to their podcast, but he has a Southern accent, so he kind of it's a little different. Andy was his eyes were twinkling the whole time. He was he was very fascinated, and it's very interesting.
Interesting. Well, I thought they were a little boring last night.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Gina and Emily are legitimate friends.
Yes,
but they can be a little dry. Emily being wasted drunk makes it interesting.
Yeah, she was a little drunk last night too.
I think so too. She's had a lot of work done. She's gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. And it's a different type of beautiful than some of these housewives. She is truly like a beautiful woman.
She's curvaceous. Even though she's lost a lot of weight, she's still very curvaceous. She's statuesque.
Yes.
She's just a lot of woman. I mean, she's a tall girl and everything, but she's not like a Giselle skinny woman. She's curvaceous. Even though she lost weight, she's not like Margaret. She's got like presence. So thin.
She has really strong presence. Right. And like you can see it. It's kind of like how Johanna Krupa used to be on Miami, like very tall, not like she was a model and lean, but like just the way they dressed, there's like this level of elegance, but also like power because they're taller. And it's kind of like,
I know what you mean. Cause she's tall and everything. She's beautiful, but even though she's lost a substantial amount of weight, she's not like emaciated like Marge has gotten. New Jersey. Marge has gotten really too skinny, I think. But anyways.
Well,
I can't wait for next week when Vicky comes on. I just want to say that.
Vicky, we just absolutely love y'all. Like us, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends because we're good time. Bye.